First, I would like to thank the Holiday Bowl for inviting us. It was an outstanding trip for our guys. They had a great time, new experiences. Most of our guys had never been to California, and the weather was great. And the bowl was great. The volunteer redcoats treated our guys with very, very high respect. And it was organized, and they had a good week. They prepared well. They practiced well during the week. Unlike I've talked about last year, we weren't as ready to play. We're ready to play tonight. Played our hearts out. Very disappointed that we didn't win, but we got to make a play here or there. And they're a great football team, and nobody gave us a chance in the game, and we had a chance with 1 second left, and that's all we could ask for in this situation. So proud of this team. Winning 9, could have won 11, 12. Most of them are coming back, so it's bodes great for next year. I love these young guys. The saddest thing for me is that they played their hearts out, and they're one point away from being out there on the field and having a great time and feeling great about themselves. That's one of the very difficult things about sports, because there are actually 2 winners out there tonight because they played their guts out, and I'm really, really proud of the way they played. Told them that. I said if we'd stop the 4th down play, I'd be happier for them that we won, happier for our fans, our administration that we won. I wouldn't feel any different about them. They gave everything they had. We had a GA coaching offensive line. We had a guy calling plays that's never called plays before. We had guys that weren't even here. We were starting 2 freshmen in the secondary. I mean, there were so many boxes that we're playing freshman wide receivers. We got Doc Chapman out there. He hadn't played any. Andre Green got to play only because the NCAA gave him an extra game, because freshmen that played in 4 could play in 5 because we were so thin. And poor Drake's got new receivers running out there he hadn't even thrown to in the middle of the Holiday Bowl. So disappointed in the loss, but really, really proud. Thank the Holiday Bowl and proud of our guys. Coaches, players, everybody came out here to win, and they gave it everything they had. Questions?
You talked about Drake May's performance today. He threw 3 touchdown passes, just put you within the game.
Drake is absolutely amazing person. He's a better person than he is quarterback, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And we had 2 of the best quarterbacks in the country tonight, and they showed that. And they put on the show that everybody thought they would put on. And here's Drake without an offensive coordinator. And I thought Lonnie Galloway did an outstanding job of he and John Lilly putting an offense together, because we've got a good offense. We just need to tweak it some. But again, here's Drake. He had an analyst coaching him for the last month, and he looked real good to me. So
how do you juxtapose some of the positives you saw tonight with closing the season with 4 losses? Now you got to carry that for the next 8 months into the offseason.
Yeah, what I see is that we closed the season with 9 wins, which has happened only one other time since I left here. And I left here a long time ago. So this is one heck of a season for North Carolina. Could have been 10, could have been 11. Most of them are coming back, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Second time in school history we won the Coastal. And I don't care about anything else. There's one Coastal trophy, and it's in our trophy case. And these guys will be remembered for that for the rest of their life. Last year I walked out of Charlotte not very proud of me as a coach, and not very proud of the team that I put out there. I could not be prouder tonight. I said if it had been 1 point our way, I wouldn't be any prouder of the way they played. They played really hard.
If I could follow up on that real quickly, is that the message? Is that what you're taking away more than anything else into the offseason because of the fight, and even some of the losses earlier, there was a similar type of fight?
Yes. We came down to the last drive in most of our games. Notre Dame beat us. Clemson beat us. We beat Pittsburgh. We beat Virginia Tech. All the others came down to the last drive of the game. Every one of them. And that means that's a team that's fighting their guts out to try to win. We won 7 of those that came down to the last play of the game. We lost a few. Oregon's the best team that we played that came down to the last play of the game, and we lost it with a chance to win. So what I've asked our guys to do at all times is give me everything you've got. And they did that tonight. There's not 1 ounce of energy left in that locker room because they left everything on that field. And I'm standing there talking to Drake with 6 seconds left, and we're fighting to get 2 seconds back on the clock because we know we can kick a 50-yard field goal. And then he throws a heck of a pass to Kobe on the sideline with 1 second left, and we're fighting, and he slings one deep in the end zone, and I still believe we're going to have a chance to catch it and win the game. So that's the message.
In the back.
Drake, what did you learn about yourself this season?
Yeah, I think the main thing I learned is just trust the process and all the hard work that it goes in and it shows and it turns out for you throughout life. So I learned life lessons outside of just football. Just guys like said and Coach Brown, relationships that I'll have the rest of my life. Guys that I love and playing out them on the field. There's nothing I'd trade in the world for that. And in the first half, after we go up 7, that was the most fun I had the entire season out there tonight. Just see these guys, the energy on the sideline, all the smiles going in the locker room. I remember that for the rest of my life. These guys, they poured their heart out tonight. Like Coach said, the circumstances were against us. We had new guy calling plays. We had freshman receivers out there, but we gave it all we got. And I thought the defense played well enough for us to win tonight. And obviously, I think I could have made some more plays and do some things. The game would have got different. But I love those guys, and what a game.
Mack, you said 50-yard field goal. Was that sort of the line of demarcation? Like, did you,
Yeah.
at the end, did you have to get to a little bit further to try?
We thought if we could get it to the 35, we had a chance. And that's why Drake tried to get it to the 35 on the out. And then when there was 1 second left, we knew we had to sling it in the end zone. That was our only chance. So we put our tallest guys and most athletic guys over there, and Drake got it up there with still a chance. And I think the other message, kind of to answer Andrew's question, as a head coach, you want to know who you go in an alley with. If you think you're going to get jumped, who's going to fight for you? Those two. And a bunch of other guys in this team would fight their guts out to keep me upright, man. And that's basically what it is when you're out there on the field. And I wouldn't trade them for anybody in the country. Not anybody in the country.
Okay.
So this is for you two.
I'm sorry, Adam. I didn't answer your question, did I?
I just didn't know how close you were to trying. I think it would have been a 59-yard field goal.
Yeah, we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
No, the two things that came up that were decisions were 4th and goal from the 2. We made 3 out of 3 4th downs. Should we have gone for it? Probably should have, because we made them all. I was a little hesitant because Drake was on his head.
Right.
And they had slung him down. They put it at the 3, so I said no. Then they moved it to the 2. If there's a second guessing on my part, you should kick the field goal, but I'm not sure in that situation, as good as they are on offense. If I had to do over, I'd obviously go for it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for you two. Sorry about the loss. What is it about Coach Brown that allows you guys to run through a wall like that?
I threatened them.
No, I think one of the biggest things that I kind of respect about Coach Brown and what he does for us is he's kind of more of a player's coach. He does everything for us. He's a very established man. He's a Hall of Fame coach. And he said it numerous times that he came back for us to help us out, to give back to us. And I think always having that really kind of, makes us want to play hard.
Yeah, Coach Brown, he mentions, he wants us in the alley, no matter the age or whatever state Coach Brown did, no matter, as we go out through our lives, we want Coach Brown, in there with us. I don't know about Seth. I think Seth feel the same way. Also, Coach Brown, you get recruited a lot of times. Coaches change. Coach Brown, he stays the same throughout. He's so approachable, so personable. He cares about us, loves us like one of his own. And I think all throughout the locker room, any one of those guys feels the same way about Coach Brown. And run through a wall for him, no doubt.
3 more questions, guys. You right there. Behind you.
Drake, this is for you. I was curious what you felt like the differences were in the offense tonight, given all of the changes, not having Josh, not having Antoine, not having Phil calling plays. Like, given all those changes, what do you feel like were the differences?
Yeah, I think the main thing is just, we're all out there relaxed, having fun. Nobody's uptight. We made a bunch of plays, played our butts off. There's a little bit of a scramble drill sometimes, getting in personnel and late in the shot clock. Game clock. But that's the thing. that's what made it fun tonight. I think sometimes the points in the game, Coach Galloway and Coach Lilly calling plays, it's left us up to the players to make plays. And I think that's what you got to do. Let us make the plays, and at the end of the day, the plays has a big part of it, but the players make the play.
Yeah, Gavin Blackwell pulled a hamstring too, so he didn't play. I mean, we were down looking at putting tight ends at receiver, and Doc Chapman hadn't played in any game that mattered. I'm seeing him out there on third and goal. I mean, it's just it's amazing what these kids accomplished tonight.
Coach, I know it's a tough loss for you, but can you speak of your veteran leadership of the players, how they performed for you tonight?
Yeah, the leadership on last year's team, I thought there were some good leaders, but it wasn't a player-led team. These guys lead the team. That's two of our captains. And the biggest difference in this year's team and last year's team, even though people will say we didn't finish right, you know what? We finished like we were all year. We finished fighting our guts out at the end of the game, and you catch a ball and you win it, you drop a ball and you lose it. So this is the way our team was. But a lot of people like to swap their season for ours tonight. A lot of people like to be in the Holiday Bowl playing a great team like Oregon. And I put these guys in a tough spot because we've got a chance to be so good next year. I wanted to play the best team that we could possibly play, because that's who we've got to start beating to take our next step. And the leadership on this team's been unbelievable. I don't say anything. If anything, if I have to pick them up, they're picking people up, and they're out there fighting their guts out. And I told them, I don't want bad body language. I don't want you to get your head down. Just keep fighting, because the football game's like life. It simulates life. You got goods, you got bads, you got great, you got fun, you got awful. And you have to handle it, and you have to respond to it. And I thought these guys did that.
Last question, guys. You would be quiet.
Cedric, you guys held them out of the end zone in 5 straight possessions in one stretch, and that's been sort of a changing trend for you guys the last 4 or 5 games. First of all, what did you guys do to keep them out during that stretch, and how has the defense improved to the point where you guys are having more of those stretches and keeping teams out of the end zone?
Yeah, I think first, they kind of came out early, kind of got on the board quickly on us. And I think from that we kind of made some adjustments. I mean, if you watched us on the sideline, guys are talking, having very high-level conversations about, what happened and what kind of adjustments can we make. And I think once we made those adjustments, we started to get a lot more comfortable throughout the game and started to get stops, like we said. But yeah, I think, this defense, like I said, has always been improving all year. I mean, I said this to you before, we've had a rocky start. But this defense is relentless, and it keeps chopping the wood, and it showed tonight.
Thanks, Coach.
If you think, again, the defense had a freshman safety, had a freshman corner. There's guys out there, been out there 2-3 games against a team that's scoring over 40 points and 500-plus yards on offense. So I thought they did some great things. And we're one batted ball away from winning the game.
We saw what, Luke Fickell, I guess, was kind of involved the other night when Wisconsin played. He had the headset. Was Chip at all involved tonight?
He couldn't be.
Okay.
Because
I think some people were saying on TV it looked like he was. Yeah. I didn't see the TV feed.
No, he can talk to the coaches and they can talk to the players. But he's a consultant because we put Rob Everett on as the quarterback coach, because I didn't know when I was going to hire somebody or who I was going to hire, and we were practicing. So Randy had a spot so he could do some things. He could coach, and he could actually work with some individual drills and stuff like that. But Chip could sit and he could talk to somebody, but he couldn't coach them. So he was not involved at all in any of the game planning or any of that stuff.
With the play calling situation, was Drake get a little bit of the Aaron Rodgers tonight where
he did.
Some of it was up to him?
Yeah, we got down to the 3rd down and 8 where we kicked the last field goal. We had a chance, and there were a lot of suggestions, as you can imagine, when you've got a number of guys involved. And I ended up saying, what do you want? Give us the one that you feel best of these 3. And he did. And he's so mature that it's funny, some people say we got some kid running the offense. Well, we don't. And we don't have a kid coaching, and we don't have a kid hiring. But also, when we've had quarterbacks before, what they think is really, really important, because if they think it's a good play, then they're more likely to be successful with it.
How do you think Lonnie did tonight in giving him the promotion to passing game coordinator? Is that just a title, or is he going to have a lot of input on what you guys do?
Lonnie and John Lilly both did an absolutely amazing job without an offensive line coach of having a chance to beat a top 15 team in a bowl game. I mean, I had no clue what was going to happen, and they have worked their rear ends off. So both of them would have liked to have had the job. So that was another process of hiring. So Lonnie will be very, very involved with Chip in the passing game, because he's really good at it, and he's one of the best recruiters we've got. John Lilly is going to be really involved in the running game with Randy and Chip and Larry Porter, but he's also going to be more involved in red zone offense with Chip and with Randy, because we've got to run. The teams that are scoring touchdowns in the red zone are running the ball, and they're using their tight ends more. We were doing that early, and then we weren't. So that's important. But absolutely, those two titles have meaning. They have a lot of meaning, and they were also one of the reasons I had them involved in hiring. And I need to hire somebody who came in with ideas but didn't want to come in and just absolutely redo everything. And Chip has agreed to, he's going to keep a lot of the numbers. He's going to keep a lot of the what do we call it? He's going to keep a lot of the scheme terminology.
Verbiage.
Yeah, scheme. But we've got to relook at our running game, and that's where he and Malzahn were so strong and so good, and he and Randy being really good friends. I tried to hire two guys that really liked each other and had similar philosophies, and felt really, really good about schemes going through. And what they've done after being around here for a week is they've seen every kid. Lonnie, good job, bud. You did a great job. Corey, thank you. But they've done an amazing job of all working together and sitting there. And Chip's been able to watch Drake and the quarterbacks every day, and Randy's been able to look at his room and sit in there, and he's met with every kid. So we're way ahead, especially now with the transfer portal. Who knows who left? Somebody may leave tomorrow. I've heard some coaches say that they're. Congratulations again. Appreciate you. Absolutely. Thank you. Congratulations, guys. Coach, hell of a job. Thank you, Coach. Congratulations. I didn't want my ball in your hand. That's why I should have gone before. Congratulations. I knew you were over there.
Dang, Mack, don't hurt it. Slapped him pretty hard.
Should have done it before the game.
Matt, what did you think about the field
He's had his finger up for a while.
What did you think about the field conditions? I saw you talking to, looked like a bowl official pregame, and they were patching it and sanding it throughout the game.
You know, the guys did a great job, but it was very dangerous. And it was just on one end. I don't know if it was a hole in the tarp, but it was so soggy that we started trying to figure out which way do you kick. The first field goal that we missed, he slipped. The first series we went out, Awesome slipped and Drake slipped. So I told the guys that of everything this week, that was the only thing that needed to be fixed and changed, because I'm not sure they would have let an NFL team play.
Some of the seams in that
The seams were really,
some
of
really
them were open like this much.
So I told them that needs to be fixed before next year.
I mean, should we even be playing these things in baseball stadiums in 2022? It's not like we're short.
Yeah. You know, it's not my place to say, but the field wasn't as safe as it needed to be.
It looked like when you and Sparky were talking to officials, and you had a grounds crew guy out there before kickoff. It looked like you were trying to get some sort of explanation or something. I don't know if
we were, and I said, can you just have a guy roll it after every series? I mean, there were huge divots where these huge kids are planting their foot and they're sliding, and it was awful. So I was worried about somebody tearing a knee or sliding, and so, but it obviously the game still went on, but that's something that needs to be fixed.
If I could ask a game, go ahead, Theo.
How close do you feel, this is just bigger picture program kind of question, finishing year 4 going into year 5. How close is this to being where you want it to be?
You know, CL, it's really close. We could have won 12 as easy as 9, and we could have won 4. But 2 years ago, we would have won 4, and that's why we made so much progress, and that's why this tonight was really important. It was important to me to see that we played so much better against Clemson than the score looked. I mean, I didn't know. Notre Dame just ran up and down the field. It was awful. I mean, they're getting 10 yards a shot, big running backs running over us, and Clemson didn't physically beat us down. So as bad as that score was because of 3 turnovers, I walked out of there saying, you know what, we're making progress. We're getting better because Clemson's as good as anybody in the country. So we're making our progress. And then I wanted this game because of the same thing. I said, I want to see how much progress we're making. And we're obviously making a lot of progress. Now we got to finish. And we got to continue to win on the road. We got to continue to win close games. I think that will come from a better running game, and it'll come from running the ball better in the red zone. And that's where I think, and our defense, they have continued to get better. After Appalachian State, everybody said they're so awful, so they didn't give them a chance at anything. But you know, our defense held Georgia Tech to 21. That was enough. Our defense really didn't give up much against Clemson. It was our offense with 3 turnovers and a block kick. NC State, we have a corner just fall down and give them 7. We have another interception that's a short field that gives them something. So the other thing we've got to do, in my estimation, and I'm not just taking up for the defense, but the better we run the ball. We held the ball. We had a 13-play drive after a 56-yard kickoff return tonight. We've got to stay on the field some and try to help our defense. And that's something that I feel like that next year's team will do a better job of.
I wanted to ask you about the defense, sort of the question I asked Cedric in there about tonight specifically and how that kind of mirrored a lot of the improvement that you guys had. And the second part to that, you're talking about getting better with the run game, but what about getting more TFLs defensively and more traditional
We've got to do that, and we've talked about it, and we've talked hard about stopping the run on first down, which is why you get tackles for loss and why you get sacks. And we haven't had enough, and that's like the running game. That's got to change. And you saw the 1 sack tonight we had was by Kamen Rugger. It's quicker guys up front that are fast twitch. So we've really got to look at, did we get too big? Did we get so we're catching more than attacking? The knock on, quote, Gene's defense, we do exactly what Oregon's doing. I mean, it's the Georgia stuff. Charlton worked with Dan Lanning at Georgia. I mean, it's exactly the same defense. So it's just people get hung off. It's easy in your business and fans to say, this is who they are, and you never change. Usually is dictated by players.
You guys have changed.
We have changed. We have changed.
You were talking, remember we talked to you, I think it was week after Notre Dame, you were talking about the angles on defense.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff has totally changed.
It's totally changed, and they're getting better. So that excites me too. The fact that most of these kids will be back. We've done a better job in the transfer portal than in our past, I feel. We'll have 19 new guys here this spring, which is amazing that there's that many, or that's what we're planning on out of 85. So it'll be pretty much the same team that you saw tonight with more help. And that's why I'm excited.
Can I ask you a portal question, not specific players, but originally...
Am I supposed to be doing this after the press conference? Would off
I
the
think
record, would Mike Gundy be doing this after this?
We appreciate it, Mack.
We were actually telling the Oregon guys that we get you a lot, so they were like kind of enviously. But about the portal, without mentioning names, they were envious. A couple of years ago, you said that you were only going to bring in somebody that's a starter. Obviously, I think that appears to have changed because you have a lot of guys coming in. How do you evaluate what they can bring to the program when you bring in a portal kid now?
One thing we've learned that through the portal, we've lost some special teams guys, and that hurts us because second teamers are the ones by and large that are leaving. And so we're finding out that we can bring in an older, experienced player that can play and share time and be a super special teams player. So that's why we would look at some of those areas differently than we did before.
And that's part of the communication process with these kids.
It is. And the other thing that you look at now, when one leaves, you don't worry as much about it because you can find another one. It is free agency. It's totally different than it's ever been. So I'm hearing some coaches across the country saying we have to recruit our guys in the locker room after the bowl game because we're hearing they may leave. And then I'm hearing some say I'm going to get on a plane tomorrow or the next day and go to their house and recruit them to stay. So it's just totally different. I'm not going to do that. We're going to talk to our guys and we're going to be really fair. And I feel really good that the guys that are leaving that weren't playing enough, I feel really good that I've let them stay and practice for the bowl game. They were playing tonight in the game. And I thought they tried so hard and they wanted to win. And it's not their fault that they're not playing enough and they want to play more. So I think what I felt worked because they're going to leave here with a better taste in their mouth than if I had said, "You're out of here, man." And they've been here 2 years and they tried really hard and then I kick them out. That's not my style.